The midnight scroll, it's midnight. The world outside your window is quiet. The streetlights hum softly. Shadows stretch across your walls, and your room is filled with nothing but the pale glow of a small screen. Your eyes sting, heavy from the long day, but your thumb keeps moving. Swipe, swipe, swipe. Another reel, another post, another pointless scroll. You tell yourself, just one more. But we both know that's a lie. Minutes melt into hours. You glance at the clock, 1:15 a.m. You look back again, 2:03. Somewhere deep down, you feel the guilt, that pit in your stomach whispering, you should sleep, you should stop. But the pull is stronger, the endless stream of videos, jokes, faces you don't even know. They feel easier than silence, and yet, when you finally pause, you realize something terrifying. You can't even remember what you've just watched. All that time, gone, stolen, and for what? This moment is not entertainment. It's compulsion. A digital trance that millions of us fall into every single night. So ask yourself, what's really happening here? Why is it so hard to put the phone down? And more importantly, what is it costing you? Because this isn't just scrolling. This is the silent killer in your pocket. The hidden killer. We live with a murderer. Not the kind that hides in dark alleys. Not the kind we see in movies. This one is far more dangerous because it smiles at you. It entertains you. It keeps you company when you're lonely. It's in your pocket right now. Your phone. We tell ourselves it's harmless. It's just social media. Just some fun. Just a way to connect. But the truth, it is stealing from you. Quietly, relentlessly, every single day. It doesn't take your money. Not directly. It doesn't take your health, at least not in a way you notice immediately. What it takes is something far more valuable. It takes your time. It takes your focus. It takes your life energy. Think about it. The greatest currency you will ever own is not dollars, not gold, not followers, not likes. It's time. Time is the one thing you will never get back. You can lose money and earn it again. You can lose a job and find another. But the hour you spent today scrolling reels, gone forever. And that's why social media is not just a distraction. It is a thief, a silent killer. But here's the sinister part. It doesn't steal violently. It steals with charm. It convinces you that you're the one in control, that you decided to check your notifications, that you chose to scroll for just 5 minutes. But let me ask you honestly, when was the last time it was just 5 minutes? 5 minutes becomes 30, 30 becomes 2 hours. And by the time you realize it, the day is gone. And that's not an accident. That's the design. Every color, every sound, every little red notification bubble. It's engineered to capture your attention. That ping of a message, that's not coincidence. It's psychology. A team of experts sitting in offices you'll never see, studying how your brain works so they can hijack it. Imagine this. You're writing an assignment or trying to focus on work. Suddenly, ding, a notification. You think, I'll just check quickly. But research proves it takes 23 minutes for your brain to fully return to deep focus once it's broken. One little buzz just cost you half an hour of your life. And the scariest part? You didn't even choose that. The app chose for you. Let's call this what it is, control. You're not holding your phone. Your phone is holding you. Social media doesn't want you to spend 10 minutes with it. It wants you for hours. Because every extra second your eyes stay glued to the screen, someone makes money. Advertisers pay billions for your attention. And what do you lose in return? The moments that actually matter. The quiet of your mornings. The focus you need to build your career. The laughter with your family at dinner. The spark of creativity that comes from boredom. The dreams you once had before every free second was swallowed by endless scrolling. Little by little, post by post, your real life fades into the background. And maybe you're thinking, it's not that serious. I'm fine. Everyone uses social media. But that's exactly how killers work. They don't announce themselves. They don't show their knife. They blend in. They act normal. Until one day, you wake up and realize something is missing. Your time, your focus, your life. Here's the harsh truth. This isn't your fault. You didn't design the trap, but you are inside it. And unless you open your eyes, you will stay there, because this killer doesn't scream. It doesn't chase you. It doesn't scare you. It just smiles while it drains your soul, one scroll at a time. The scale of the problem. Let's step back for a moment. Maybe you think this is just your struggle. Maybe you think you're weak for not putting the phone down. But the truth? You are not alone. This isn't just a personal problem. It's a worldwide epidemic. Let me give you numbers that should terrify you. The average person touches their phone over 2,600 times a day. Not checks, touches. That means swipes, taps, scrolls, every tiny reflex that keeps you chained to the screen. And heavy users, that number jumps past 5,000. Imagine touching anything else 5,000 times in a single day. You'd call that madness. Yet with our phones, we call it normal. Now let's talk hours. Globally, the average adult spends between 3 to 6 hours a day on their phone. Americans, around 4 hours and 30 minutes. In countries like Brazil and the Philippines, almost 6 hours. That's a quarter of your waking life. Gone, and it doesn't stop there. Teenagers, our future leaders, dreamers, creators, are averaging 7 to 9 hours a day of screen time. That's more time than they spend sleeping, learning, or even talking to their own families. Pause and let that sink in. 9 hours, every single day. Now, multiply. Take those hours and stretch them across weeks, months, years. By the time you turn 70, if these patterns continue, you will have spent over 15 years of your life staring at a screen. 15 years where you could have traveled, built something meaningful, fallen in love, written that book, learned that skill. 15 years evaporated into a feed that you won't even remember tomorrow. And it's not just you, it's billions of people all across the planet. Think about it. Right now, in every cafe, bus stop, train station, classroom, and bedroom, you will see the same picture. Faces tilted down, eyes glazed, fingers twitching, not living, just scrolling. We've become a species that no longer looks at the stars, but at screens. A world where silence feels unbearable unless it's filled with notifications. A world where we know more about influencers we'll never meet than about our own neighbors. This is not coincidence. This is not culture evolving naturally. This is a trap that has caught us all. And here's where the numbers become even darker. Research shows that phone addiction has now been linked to skyrocketing levels of anxiety, depression, and loneliness. The more time you spend online, the worse you feel offline. One study found that people who cut their social media use by just 30 minutes a day reported significantly better mental health in only 3 weeks. Just 30 minutes. Imagine what hours could do. Yet the numbers keep climbing. Every year, average daily usage goes up. Every year, the age of the first phone gets younger. Children as young as 10 years old are entering the cycle, trained from childhood to equate boredom with swiping. And here's the cruel irony. Social media was sold to us as connection, a way to bring people together. But the stats say otherwise. The more we connect online, the more disconnected we become in real life. Walk into any family dinner, any group of friends at a restaurant, and you'll see it. Heads bowed, not in prayer but in submission to the screen. Words unspoken because liking a post felt easier than starting a real conversation. This isn't just happening in one country. It's everywhere. In Tokyo subways, in Paris cafes, In African villages where people have little else, but still have TikTok. The grip of the phone has no borders, no culture, no religion. This is humanity's first truly global addiction. And it's spreading faster than anything in history. So let me ask you, if billions of people are doing the same thing, every single day, losing the same hours, surrendering the same focus, what does that mean for our future? Think about the dreams delayed, the art that was never painted, the businesses that were never built, the books never written, the relationships never deepened. It's not just your life being stolen, it's our collective future. And here's the part no one wants to say out loud. If we don't stop, if we don't wake up, we are heading for a world where real human experience becomes secondary, where the digital world feels more alive than reality itself. And when that day comes, if it hasn't already, what will we have left? Because this isn't just distraction anymore. This is an epidemic of lost time, and time, once taken, can never be returned. What it does to your mind and life. Let's talk about the cost. Not the kind of cost you see on your bank statement, the cost you don't notice until it's already stolen years of your life. Every swipe, every scroll, every notification, it feels small, harmless, forgettable. But piece by piece, it carves away at your mind. First, your focus. Remember when you could read a book for an hour without looking up? When you could sit through a movie without pausing to check your phone? That muscle, your ability to stay with one thing, is breaking. Now, you start reading a page, but your thumb twitches. You try to work, but your brain whispers, just one quick look. You can't even wait in line at the grocery store without pulling your phone out of your pocket. That's not weakness. That's conditioning. You've been trained like a lab rat hitting a lever for food, except the reward isn't food, it's dopamine. And dopamine feels good for a second, but it leaves you hungry for more, always more. And here's the hidden damage. When you lose focus, you don't just lose productivity, you lose yourself. Your big goals, your dreams, your passions, they live in the deep, focused hours of your life. Writing that book, building that business, learning that skill. These things require silence, depth, time. But social media slices your life into fragments. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, notifications cutting through your thoughts like knives until your day is gone and you can't even remember where it went. And then, relationships. Look around the next time you're with people you love. Notice how often someone's eyes drift down to a screen. Notice how fast a conversation dies when the glow of a phone appears. You know the feeling. You're talking, opening your heart. And then, suddenly, the other person's attention is gone. They're scrolling, smiling at something you can't see. And in that instant, you're invisible. That's what this addiction does. It doesn't just waste time. It tells the people around you, this screen is more important than you. And they feel it. They always feel it. It's killing intimacy. It's killing trust. It's killing presence. And when presence dies, relationships starve. Now let's talk about passion. Remember the hobbies you once had? Drawing, music, playing outside, talking for hours, building things with your hands. That spark inside you, creativity, curiosity, imagination. It withers when all your free time is devoured by a feed. You don't notice it at first, because scrolling feels busy. It feels like something. But months later, you look back and realize you haven't written a song. You haven't painted. You haven't read a real book. Your passions don't die with a bang. They die with a silence you barely notice. And maybe the worst part is the way it steals your mind when you're alone. There used to be a beauty in boredom, a power in stillness. Those quiet moments gave birth to ideas, to reflection, to dreams. But boredom now, it's unbearable. A second of silence, and your hand twitches. A moment of stillness, and you reach. You don't even choose. Your body just obeys. And in that obedience, something sacred disappears. The ability to sit with yourself, to think, to feel, to listen to your own soul. Without that, who are you? Because if every empty space is filled with noise, where will you ever find clarity? Here's the haunting truth. Social media doesn't just waste your time. It rewires your mind. It turns you into a restless, distracted, anxious version of yourself. A version always hungry, never satisfied, and the damage ripples outward. Lost focus means lost work. Lost presence means weaker love. Lost passions mean forgotten dreams. It's not just hours stolen, it's entire futures. And yet, most people don't even realize it's happening. They think they're just keeping up. They think everyone else is doing the same thing. So it must be fine. But it's not fine. It's fatal. Because when you lose focus, you lose progress. When you lose connection, you lose love. When you lose passion, you lose meaning. And when you lose meaning, what's left? That is the cost. That is what social media is doing, not just to your mind, but to your life. The addiction. Mechanism, imagine walking into a casino. The lights flash, the machines sing, coins clatter, every sound, every color, every movement, engineered to keep you there, pulling the lever again and again. Now imagine, that casino lives in your pocket. That's what social media is. Not an innocent tool. Not just apps to stay connected. It's a slot machine, rebuilt for your brain. Here's how it works. Dopamine. Dopamine isn't the pleasure chemical people say it is. It's the anticipation chemical. It doesn't reward you with joy. It makes you crave. It whispers, maybe the next scroll, maybe the next like, maybe the next notification will feel even better. Every pull of your thumb on that glowing screen is a lever. Every refresh is a spin. And sometimes you win. A funny video, a message, a little red heart. Most times you don't. But that unpredictability, that's the hook. It's called variable reward. The same system casinos use to drain billions from gamblers. The same system drug dealers exploit with the high that fades too fast. You think you're choosing. But the truth is, you're being trained. Think about it. Do you ever open Instagram for just a minute and 40 minutes vanish? Do you ever pull down your screen to refresh, like pulling a lever, even though you just checked it seconds ago? That's not an accident. That's design. The apps study you. They know what color keeps your eye, what sound makes your pulse jump, what kind of content you linger on, even for half a second. And then they serve you more and more and more. It's not connection. It's not communication. It's consumption, and you're the product being consumed. Here's the part most people don't want to admit. Social media doesn't just distract you, it hijacks you. It rewires your brain's reward circuits in the same way cocaine does, in the same way alcohol does, in the same way a glowing casino floor does at 3 a.m. And the withdrawal? It's real. Try deleting the app for a week. You'll feel it. The itch in your fingers, the restless mind, the sudden need to check even though there's nothing there. That's addiction, plain and simple. But here's where it gets even darker. When you gamble at a casino, at least you know the house always wins. When you drink, you know you're taking a shot of alcohol. But social media, it hides behind the mask of connection. It says, don't worry, you're just keeping up with friends. You're just checking the news. You're just having fun. It disguises the slot machine as something normal, something everyone does, and so you don't see it for what it really is. A drug, designed, delivered, dosed in endless supply. The ease, colors, the pings, the swipes, the endless scroll. These are not random features. They're needles. They're triggers. They're hooks in your brain, dragging you back again and again. Ask yourself this. How many times have you closed an app, only to reopen it seconds later without even realizing it? That moment of autopilot, that's the machine running you. And when you're on autopilot long enough, life slips by. You're not choosing anymore. You're chasing the next notification, the next comment, the next meaningless jackpot. But jackpots never last. They vanish in seconds, leaving you hungrier than before. That's the cruel genius of it. It's not about giving you what you want. It's about keeping you in the game, and the longer you play, the more you lose. Focus, time, presence, and slowly, yourself. This isn't exaggeration. It's not a metaphor stretched too far. Scientists scan brains and see the same pathways light up in heavy social media users as they do in gamblers, in addicts, in alcoholics. The brain doesn't lie. And if you've ever felt that twitch in your hand, that restlessness in your chest, that endless pull toward your phone, even when you swore you wouldn't, you know. Deep down, you know. You're not holding a harmless app. You're holding a slot machine, and every spin, every swipe, every scroll is a bet against your own life. The emotional trap. Picture this. You're lying in bed, the room quiet, the glow of your phone painting shadows across the ceiling. One thumb flick, and suddenly, your best friend is in Greece. Crystal water, blue skies, sunsets that look too perfect to be real. Another flick. Someone you barely know just bought a brand new car, shiny, clean. Their smile wide, hand on the wheel like they've already won life. Another flick. Two strangers. Kissing in Paris, their laughter frozen in time, captioned with a hashtag that whispers, "Couple goals." And in that moment, your own life feels smaller. Your room feels darker. Your heartbeat grows heavier. Because what you're comparing is you're behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. This is the emotional trap. Social media doesn't just steal your time, it steals your sense of worth. You're not just scrolling through content, you're scrolling through curated illusions, perfect vacations, perfect bodies, perfect relationships. But they're not showing the arguments before the photo, the credit card debt behind the car, the loneliness behind that carefully edited smile. And yet, your brain doesn't care about the truth. It only sees the perfection, and it whispers, "Why not you? Why not yet? What's wrong with you?" Every scroll is another cut. Small, invisible. But they add up. It starts with envy, then slides into shame. And before long, you're scrolling more to escape the pain caused by scrolling in the first place. That's the loop. Comparison creates pain. Pain creates craving. Craving pulls you back to the same feed that hurt you, a trap designed with emotional precision. Think about the last time you felt it. You see someone post their engagement. For a moment, you're happy. Then, almost instantly, your own love life feels inadequate, or you see someone's beach body, toned and glowing. And suddenly, the mirror in your bathroom feels like an enemy. This isn't just sadness. It's insecurity, weaponized. Psychologists call it social comparison theory. Your brain has always compared itself to others. But before social media, your others were the few people you knew in real life. Now, your others are millions. Celebrities, influencers, billionaires, the genetically gifted, the surgically enhanced, the endlessly filtered. No wonder. You feel like you're never enough. And the worst part? You don't stop at envy. You start performing too. You pose, you filter, you crop, you carefully choose captions, not to express yourself, but to compete. You stop living for the moment and start living for the post. Your vacation isn't just a vacation, it's content. Your meal isn't just food, it's a story. Your relationship isn't just love, it's a highlight reel you must maintain, even if the truth is crumbling behind closed doors. And each post, each like, each comment, it's not enough, never enough, because someone else always has more. The trap deepens. You scroll to escape the feeling of inadequacy, but scrolling shows you more lives to compare against, more highlight reels, more perfection, more fuel for the fire of self-doubt. And the cruel irony? Everyone else is feeling the same. The friend on the Greek island is scrolling too, jealous of someone richer, prettier, happier. The couple in Paris might have fought an hour before their photo. The person in the luxury car might be drowning in payments, but none of us show the cracks. We only show the shine. So we all scroll. We all compare. We all sink deeper into the illusion together. And it changes us. It makes joy feel smaller. Because the moment you're happy, you see someone happier. It makes success feel shallow. Because the second you achieve something, you see someone who's achieved more. It makes love feel fragile. Because your real relationship doesn't look like the scripted ones online. It makes you believe your life isn't worth living unless it looks like someone else's life, and that's the most dangerous part. Because the moment you stop valuing your own reality, you surrender it. You hand it over to the endless scroll, begging for validation, while your real moments slip away. So here's the truth, raw and unpolished. That car? It won't matter. That vacation? The sand washes off. That couple? They'll fight, they'll hurt, they'll bleed just like you, but the hours you lose comparing, you never get them back. That's the cost of the trap. Not just your attention, not just your focus, but your sense of self. And until you see it clearly, until you look at the feed and whisper, "This is not reality," you'll keep falling, because every scroll is another chance to compare, and every comparison is another chain. The question is, when will you stop giving your worth to a feed that doesn't care who you are? Real stories, real struggles. It's one thing to talk about algorithms, dopamine, and statistics. It's another to see what it does to real people. Because behind every scroll, behind every notification, there's a human being wrestling with it, quietly, painfully, invisibly. Tom Holland's confession. Let's start with someone you know. Tom Holland, the face of Spider-Man, a global superstar, a man who millions admire, envy, and adore. And yet, when he sat down in interviews, he admitted something shocking. He said social media was crushing his mental health. Every time he opened an app, he found himself spiraling, comparing, doubting, losing control of his own thoughts. So he quit. Not because he was weak, but because he realized, even with fame, money, and success, he wasn't immune. Think about that. If Spider-Man himself felt trapped in the web, what chance do the rest of us have? That's the first truth. No one is safe. The case of Alex versus Ryan. Let's go somewhere closer. A story not about a celebrity, but two ordinary friends. Alex and Ryan grew up together. Same school, same neighborhood, same starting line. But the moment social media sank its teeth in, their paths split. Ryan became obsessed, every free moment, on his phone. At parties, he was never present, scrolling, posting, checking who liked what. He needed validation like oxygen. When his photos didn't get enough likes, his mood crashed. When someone else's life looked shinier, he felt small. And Alex? He wasn't perfect either. But one day, he noticed. He saw how much time was slipping through his fingers. So he deleted the apps for 1 week. That week stretched into a month, that month into a year. And here's the difference. By the time they were both 25, Ryan was still stuck in the loop. Lost hours, fading focus, struggling with self-worth. Alex? He had built a small business, repaired broken friendships, discovered passions he'd forgotten. Guitar, running, writing. Not because he was smarter, not because he had more talent, but because he fought back against the scroll. The human cost. This isn't about bad habits. It's about lives reshaped in silence. I've met people who can't sleep without one last scroll. People who wake up in the middle of the night just to check a notification. People who can't go 5 minutes, without the itch to pick up their phone. And they laugh it off. I'm addicted to TikTok. But behind the laugh, there's pain. Because deep down, they know something precious is slipping away, their childhood dreams, their focus, their sense of peace. Gone, traded for another 30-second video. The hidden wounds. Here's what no one tells you. The damage doesn't always look dramatic. It's not like a car crash. It's more like carbon monoxide. Silent, invisible, deadly. You don't see the hours vanishing until you look back at a year and realize you built nothing. You don't see the relationships weakening until you sit across from a friend and realize you don't know them anymore. You don't see your confidence fading until you compare yourself to everyone online and whisper, "I'm not enough." That's the hidden wound of this age. Back to Tom, back to Ryan, back to us. Remember Tom Holland stepping away from the spotlight of his phone? Remember Alex choosing presence over distraction? Their choices reveal a painful truth. This fight isn't about willpower, it's about awareness. Most people never see the trap. They normalize it. They scroll, laugh, share, while their real life rusts quietly in the background. But some, just a few, wake up. They see the cost. They decide, I will not hand over my life so cheaply. Solutions. Breaking free. We've walked through the trap. We've seen the cost. Now comes the question that lingers heavy in the chest. What can we do? Not theory, not vague advice. Real, human steps. Steps that feel possible, even when the grip of the screen feels unshakable. So here they are. 4 lessons, 4 lifelines. Each one simple, each one a battle cry. Lesson 1. Awareness. Shine a light on the invisible. Every change begins here. Awareness. Most people scroll on autopilot. They don't even realize when their hand moves toward their pocket. It's muscle memory, coded into the brain. So here's your first task. Catch yourself in the act. The next time your fingers reach for the phone, stop. Ask, why am I opening this? Do I need to, or is it just habit? It's like flipping on the lights in a dark room. Suddenly, the shadows scatter. You'll be shocked at how many times you grab your phone for no reason. Sitting at a red light, standing in an elevator, waiting for water to boil. Those tiny moments, they add up to hours stolen. Awareness doesn't solve the problem by itself, but it does something vital. It breaks the illusion. It tells your brain, you are choosing this, and you can choose differently. Lesson 2. Turn off the siren's notifications, those little red dots, the buzzing, dinging, flashing reminders that you are wanted, needed, missing out. Let's be real. They're not notifications. They're sirens. They pull you back into the sea every time you try to climb onto shore. Here's the move. Turn them off. All of them. Except the ones that keep you safe. Calls. Maybe texts. Everything else? Silence it. The first time you do it, you'll feel uneasy. Your brain will twitch, expecting the buzz. But then, something remarkable happens. Quiet. Imagine this. You're reading a book. No interruption. You're in a conversation. No vibration in your pocket pulling you away. You're living life without being yanked by invisible strings. This step isn't dramatic, but it's powerful, because every notification you silence is one more chain snapped. Lesson 3. The 5-second rule. Reclaim your impulse. Here's where. It gets practical. You're sitting there. You feel the itch. Check Instagram, just for a second. That's the addiction speaking. So here's the rule. Wait 5 seconds. When you feel the urge, count slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then ask, do I really need this right now? 9 times out of 10, the urge fades. The craving dissolves. And suddenly, you're in control again. It sounds small, but it's the crack in the armor. Because once you can pause, you can choose. And choice, that's freedom. Lesson 4. Replace the scroll with life. Here's the truth. You can't just quit. The void it leaves will eat you alive. If you want to break free, you have to replace the scroll with something real. So make a list. Things you once loved but forgot. things that make you feel alive. Reading, running, cooking, painting, journaling, calling an old friend, and the next time your hand reaches for the phone, swap it. Scroll through a book instead of a feed. Play your guitar instead of refreshing TikTok. Step outside. Feel the sun on your face. Breathe. This isn't just substitution. It's resurrection. Because every moment you reclaim, you remind yourself, my life is bigger than a screen. Lesson 5. The 7-day detox, a bold experiment finally, the reset button. I won't lie, this one is tough, but it's transformative. For 7 days, delete the apps that own you. Not forever, just 1 week. Yes, your brain will scream. You'll feel the phantom vibrations. The silence will feel unbearable at first. But then, something shifts. By day 3, you'll notice time expanding. By day 5, your focus sharpens. By day 7, you'll feel a strange, exhilarating clarity. And when you return, if you choose to, you'll return on your terms. Not as a slave, but as a master. The detox isn't punishment, it's proof. Proof that you're stronger than you think. The closing blow awareness. Silence. The 5-second rule. Real replacements. The 7-day detox. Each one is small. But together, they're a rebellion. A rebellion against the machines that hijacked your mind. And here's the thought that should haunt you, in the best way possible. Every scroll is a choice. Every choice writes your story. So ask yourself, will your story be one of hours lost in a glowing rectangle, or one of presence, creation, connection, life? The screen will always call, but now, you know how to answer differently. And that is the beginning of freedom. The climax. Facing the choice, it all comes down to this. Because every day, whether you see it or not, you're standing at a fork in the road. 2 futures, 2 lives, and the direction you take is carved by one small, repeated choice. Pick up the phone, or put it down. Future 1. The addicted. Path, close your eyes for a moment. Picture yourself 10 years from now, still scrolling. You wake up, the first thing you see is the glow of a screen. The sun is rising, but you don't notice. Your thumb moves before your brain is even awake. Refresh, refresh, refresh. Hours slip by like sand through your fingers. You tell yourself you're just checking in, but deep down you know you're hooked. You see faces, vacations, cars, filtered smiles. And every picture whispers the same poison. You are not enough. Your dreams, the ones you once carried like fire in your chest, feel distant, blurred. The book you wanted to write, never started. The trip you wanted to take, always postponed. The conversations with family, replaced by quiet rooms where everyone stares down, not at each other, but at glowing rectangles. Your attention span, shattered. Your energy, drained. Your confidence, cracked. And then one day you look back and realize the years didn't vanish in one big explosion. They were stolen in 1,000 tiny scrolls. This is the future of surrender. A life half-lived. A prison built of pixels. But there's another path. Future 2. The free path. Now picture this. 10 years from now, you broke free. You wake up, sunlight spilling across your face. No buzzing, no flashing, no endless feed demanding your attention. Just quiet, just you. Instead of scrolling, you stretch, you breathe. You feel the day before you. You look around at a life you've built, not consumed. Your work is deeper. You can actually focus long enough to finish what you start. You read again. You create again. You think again. And here's the most powerful part. Your relationships are alive. You're present at dinner. You laugh without glancing down. You hear stories without missing them. Your dreams, the ones you thought you'd lost, are alive again. That business idea? You gave it the time and focus it needed. That passion project? It finally exists, no longer trapped in your imagination. That version of you, the one filled with clarity, confidence, and calm, that version is real. This is not fantasy. This is what happens when you take back your time, moment by moment, choice by choice. The fork in the road to futures. Both waiting. Both possible. And here's the raw truth. No one else decides for you. Not your friends. Not the apps. Not the companies that engineered your weakness. You decide. That phone in your pocket? It's a tool. It can be a cage or it can be a key. The difference depends on how you choose to use it. This is the climax of your story. Will you let the glow control your days, your years, your life? Or will you reclaim them, piece by piece, breath by breath, moment by moment? The closing beat. Most people never face this choice consciously. They drift, they scroll, they wake up one day wondering where their time went. But you're awake now. You've seen the trap. You've felt its weight. You've imagined its cost. And that means you have power. Power to step into the harder path, the freer path. Power to choose presence over distraction. Power to write a story worth remembering. So the question isn't whether you can. The question is, which future? Will you choose because the screen will always call? But your life, the one beyond the glow, that's the story worth living. Ending. The final question. So here we are. At the edge of everything. You've seen the cost, the trap, the fork in the road. And now it isn't about algorithms or apps anymore. It's about you. Because when the noise fades, when the screen goes dark, there's a question that refuses to be ignored. Are you living your life or just scrolling through it? Think about it. Every swipe is a choice. Every refresh, a trade. Minutes for pixels, dreams for distraction, connection for comparison. And when those trades add up, what's left? Maybe it's silence, maybe it's regret, or maybe it's a chance to step back, to breathe, to look someone you love in the eye without glancing down, a chance to hear your own thoughts again, to feel the pulse of your own story, a chance to live, not through someone else's highlight reel, but through your own moments. So tonight, when the glow of your phone pulls at your hand, pause. Ask yourself, honestly, is this how I want my story to be remembered? Because in the end, no one will measure your life in likes or followers or streaks. They'll measure it in moments, in presence, in love. The feed never ends, but your time does. So what will you choose?